The house was quiet enough that night for every sound to feel louder than it should have. A floorboard settling, a heater clicking on, the soft rhythm of someone breathing in their sleep. Nothing felt wrong. Nothing felt urgent. And that's what made it dangerous. Because somewhere in that stillness, a decision was being made. One that would turn an ordinary winter night into something no one inside that house would ever forget. She was asleep on a couch that wasn't even hers, wrapped in a blanket, surrounded by people she trusted. The door was locked. The neighborhood was calm. This was the kind of night people describe as safe, the kind where nothing unexpected happens. And yet, before morning came, she would be gone. Brianna Dennison was 19 years old and still in the middle of becoming who she was going to be. She was thoughtful, steady, the kind of person who listened more than she spoke and meant what she said when she did. Friends described her as calm, responsible, and deeply kind. She studied psychology, drawn to understanding people, especially when they were struggling. She believed behavior had reasons, that actions came from somewhere deeper. It was an interest rooted in empathy, not curiosity. That January, she was doing what so many college students do, balancing classes, work, friendships, and the quiet pressure of imagining a future that hadn't fully taken shape yet. The night before she disappeared wasn't reckless or chaotic. It was ordinary. A birthday celebration, music, conversation, laughter. When it ended, she made a practical choice. Instead of driving late in the cold, she stayed with friends at a house near campus. She had stayed there before. It felt familiar. It felt safe. As the night faded, lights went out one by one. Doors were locked. People drifted to their rooms. Brianna settled onto the living room couch, pulled a blanket over herself, and went to sleep, expecting to wake up in a few hours and continue her routine. Nothing about that moment suggested it would be the last ordinary one of her life. Sometime in the early hours before dawn, the house changed without anyone inside noticing. No glass shattered. No door was kicked in. No one woke up startled by noise. Whoever approached that home moved carefully, quietly, deliberately. Investigators would later say that silence mattered. It suggested intention, control. Brianna was taken from the couch while she slept. There was no struggle loud enough to wake anyone, no call for help, no chance to reach for her phone. It stayed behind. So did her purse. Her shoes remained exactly where she had left them. When the person responsible left that house, Brianna was gone, taken from a locked home in a quiet neighborhood, leaving behind nothing dramatic. Just absence. Morning arrived slowly. Sunlight filtered through the windows. Alarms went off. People stirred. At first, no one panicked. They tried to explain it away. Maybe she had stepped out early. Maybe she'd gone somewhere nearby. But the longer the house stayed quiet, the heavier the realization became. Her phone went unanswered. Her belongings hadn't moved. Nothing about her disappearance made sense. By the time police were called, concern had turned into fear. Officers moved through the house carefully. There were no signs of forced entry, no evidence of a struggle. To investigators, that was alarming. People don't leave without shoes in winter. They don't leave their phone behind. They don't disappear silently from locked homes. Whatever had happened to Brianna, it wasn't a choice she made. Search efforts expanded quickly. Friends retraced the previous night, replaying conversations and movements, hoping they had missed something small. Volunteers joined law enforcement. Flyers appeared across the city. Her photo filled television screens. Her family waited, holding on to hope while preparing for what they feared might come next. 3 days later, that fear became reality. Brianna's body was found in a remote area far from where she had last been seen. The location was isolated, quiet, and unforgiving. With that discovery, the case shifted. The search for Brianna ended. The hunt for the person who took her life began. What unsettled people most wasn't just that she had been murdered. It was how it happened. She hadn't been walking alone at night. She hadn't been somewhere unfamiliar. She had been asleep inside a locked house. For many, that detail shattered assumptions about safety. Investigators returned to the house with new eyes. Not every crime scene looks violent. Some leave almost nothing behind. Forensic teams examined the living room inch by inch, the couch, the floor, nearby furniture, and then they saw it. A single shoe impression, faint but unmistakable, left on a piece of furniture near where Brianna had been sleeping. It didn't belong to anyone who lived there. It wasn't hers. The tread pattern was distinctive enough to matter. At the recovery site, forensic teams collected biological evidence. From it, they developed a DNA profile belonging to an unknown suspect. For the first time, the case had direction. Someone had been inside that house. Someone had left behind a shoe impression and DNA. But without a name, the questions only multiplied. Then another woman came forward. Her story stopped investigators cold. Days before Brianna disappeared, she had been attacked in the early morning hours by a stranger. Unlike Brianna, she survived. Her account revealed a pattern: calm control, surprise, precision. Most importantly, DNA from her case matched the same unknown profile found in Brianna's. What once looked like an isolated crime was now something else entirely. Someone was moving through the city in the early hours, targeting strangers, leaving almost nothing behind. Almost. Fear settled over the community. People checked locks twice. Porch lights stayed on. Students walked together, even during the day. Investigators felt the pressure of one question above all others. Would it happen again? Weeks later, the answer came quietly. A DNA match. A name. James Bila. 27 years old, living in the area. No connection to Brianna. That detail confirmed what investigators already believed. She wasn't targeted for who she was. She was chosen because she was there. Detectives moved carefully, gathering evidence, watching his movements. When they searched his residence, they found shoes matching the impression from the house. Forensic testing confirmed it. His DNA matched both cases. The randomness of the crime became undeniable. Opportunity, timing, a single decision in the dark. When the case reached the courtroom, the details became public in a way headlines never could. The jury heard how someone entered a locked home and took a sleeping teenager without waking anyone else. They saw the evidence, the shoe impression, the DNA. They heard testimony from the survivor who described a stranger who relied on control and silence. When the verdict was delivered, it brought accountability, not relief. Brianna's absence remained. The house on McKay Drive stood unchanged, but the idea of safety never fully returned. Because the most terrifying part of this case wasn't the violence itself. It was how quietly it arrived, and how easily it could have happened to anyone.